What's going on, everyone? John Matrix here. Hope you're having yourselves a wonderful day. We're going to be jumping back into the wonderful world of the Exploring series, exploring the SCP Foundation beneficial SCPs is what we're going to be looking at today. As always, links will be down below in the description to the original video here by the Exploring series and the Exploring series channel. So if you do me a favor and click those links, if you like his original video, give him a like. Go over to his channel, give the man a sub. He does a lot of great content for the SCP universe as well as others. So if you enjoy his content, give him some love. He definitely deserves it. We're doing this reaction live from our YouTube members. So if you would like to come and hang out and join in these discussions that we have before, during, and after the videos, there is a join button down below. Check out the YouTube membership benefit tier, see if any of those would have any interest for you. You can get early access up to a week for a lot of my videos. You can come hang out, like I said, during our reactions that you do. There's a Discord with sub channel. You guys can go in and you know, chit chat and have some shenanigans. So there's all kinds of stuff. Check them out, see if any of that would have any interest for you. If not, that's perfectly fine. I just appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come watch these videos. So with all that said, let's jump into this here. So again, this is Exploring the SCP Foundation beneficial SCPs by the Exploring series. So boop, boop.
Beneficial SCPs. If you've been following along with this series, you've heard about a number of horrific anomalies capable of maiming, torturing, and killing.
So far, I haven't really heard of a ton of like super beneficial SCPs, you know, like the only one that I can really think of, and it's more of just like, I guess it's really of how you use it, was the coffee machine that would kind of like make whatever you would tell it to. You know, like that's more of how you use it could be beneficial or not. Most of the other SCPs that we've talked about have kind of been more like existential horror stuff. Like the flesh that hates. Cthulhu wasn't, you know, bad, but he wasn't necessarily beneficial. Like he was just chilling playing StarCraft, you know what I'm saying? The architect one, that's not really beneficial or detrimental. It's just kind of like a force of nature kind of a thing. Cain and Abel, I mean, I don't know. Again, those weren't really one way or the other. Wondertainment, again, isn't really one way or the other. So it hasn't really like been anything that I've really kind of gotten into that I can think of where there's like, I would say they're specifically there to benefit humanity or the world or nature in one way or the other kind of a thing, you know? Yeah, the coffee machine is chaotic neutral, right? Yeah. So, but like, I would say like the coffee machine is kind of the closest thing so far that I've gotten into, but it's really more about how you use it as opposed to it's just naturally something that's trying to like benefit things or something like that. So I'm curious as to what we'll get into here.
Between various monsters, mind-bending locations, and inexplicable phenomena, the SCP universe is one wrought with danger. Organizations such as the SCP Foundation spend every day fighting against these dangers, but there are also certain anomalies that can aid humanity instead.
Oh yeah, I guess the little blobby dude here that's supposed to like fight off the Scarlet King, I think, right? I guess he would be the one thing that I've heard of that you would say be like potential, right? He like, I forget exactly what it is, but if I remember right, he's like something that could be created to fight off the Scarlet King. He's got some kind of stuff that's like got like healing beneficial properties or something like that. Yeah, 999. Yeah, I forgot about him too, honestly, until I just saw this picture here. I was like, oh yeah, slime boy, little blobby dude. He's a good boy. So yeah, I guess he would be the only one I could say that I have learned about so far.
These beneficial SCPs can aid humanity instead. These beneficial SCPs comprise a relatively low amount of the overall list of anomalies, but each one is prized by groups such as the SCP Foundation.
I bet.
While it's true that many SCPs could potentially be useful or beneficial, such as being weaponized, this video will specifically focus on SCPs that are inherently beneficial. Perhaps one of the most notable beneficial SCPs, and the prime example of the concept, is SCP-500, Panacea. SCP-500 is a small plastic can, currently containing 47 red pills.
Interesting.
These pills, taken orally, cure a subject of all diseases within 2 hours.
Damn.
So far,
Can we replicate those pills, brother? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, can we like throw those in the coffee machine and have the coffee machine like make an infinite amount of these pills, brother? Like, let's do some research here. You know what I'm saying?
these pills seem all diseases within 2 hours. So far, these pills seem capable of curing any mundane disease or illness, as well as many anomalous afflictions, such as 008, the zombie plague. The only downside to SCP-500 is the limited quantity of the pill.
Did they? I mean, I know that the way the coffee machine works, or the way the coffee machine seems to work, is that like it needs the like raw material in order to create the stuff. You know what I mean? But who knows? I mean, I maybe you could find the raw material to actually make these pills the same way. You know what I mean? If you just like feed a pill into it and it knows what it is, you know? I don't know.
The only downside to SCP-500 is the limited quantity of the pills. And despite...
But it could be a situation where, like, you get more out of it, right? Like, it uses a pill, but it makes enough liquid so that it would create, you know, potentially multiple pills worth of stuff. So you could be more efficient with the pills. You know what I mean? I mean, you might be able to get a net benefit out of it, even though you are using some of these pills that have a limited amount. You know, I don't know.
Afflictions, such as 008, the zombie plague. The only downside to SCP-500 is the limited quantity of the pills.
Yeah.
And despite their efforts, the Foundation have so far been unable to create any more of the pills. However, they are utilizing SCP-038, the Everything Tree, to create clones of the pills.
The Everything Tree. I've not heard about this before at all. There's something they can do to just don't have a full effect. Listen here, you guys are thinking, yeah, exactly. They aren't thinking outside the box, okay? Okay? This is why they need to hire me, to start sending me the checks, all right? You know, I got the ideas. I'm the idea man, okay?
SCP-038, the Everything Tree, to create clones of the pills. These cloned pills only work 30% of the time, and as time goes on, they become even less effective. But otherwise, they still function like the original pills.
30% of the time is better than nothing, right?
In cases where the infection is permanent, they manage to stop the infection 60% of the time.
60% of the time, it works every time, you know what I'm saying?
But since it's fairly easy for the Foundation to continue cloning the pills, this is a pretty beneficial situation.
I mean, yeah.
They also experimented putting a SCP-500 pill through SCP-914, the Clockworks, a large clockwork device capable of taking objects and converting them into something else based on a few settings. SCP-914 is not inherently beneficial, as the results are too unpredictable, but it has the potential of creating something beneficial. The pill was run through the machine on the Find setting, and the result was a small spherical locket, designated SCP-427.
Interesting.
427, when opened, is capable of curing diseases and illnesses at an enhanced rate, curing the common cold in 2 to 4 minutes.
This is where we ran 428 through. I gotcha. Okay.
The results are too unpredictable, but it has the potential of creating
They create a locket
beneficial.
that is able to cure disease, huh?
The pill was run through the machine on the Find setting, and the result was a small spherical locket, designated SCP-427. 427, when opened, is capable of curing diseases and illnesses at an enhanced rate, curing the common cold in 2 to 4 minutes, as well as regenerating any cellular damage.
The pharmacies hate him. Pharmacies hate him. Big Pharma hates him. They don't want you to know this one simple trick, dude. That's what they're saying about this.
Prolonged exposure greatly enhances the body's resistance to diseases and toxins, and also optimizes a subject's muscular system, increasing their strength and pain tolerance.
Oh shit. This turns people into like super soldiers? This is like Captain America locket here?
The subject is ever exposed to the locket for over an hour over the course of their life, however, they will begin mutating into a shapeless mass of tissue, becoming incredibly aggressive and highly resistant to most known weaponry.
So yeah, it does. It literally like does super soldier work, only they go crazy. Okay.
And highly resistant to most known weaponry. Since 427 can cure almost anything that the pills can, it's often used as a substitute, although usage is highly monitored to prevent any mutations.
I mean, if it's able to cure, you know, most diseases and like colds and stuff like that within a few minutes, yeah, just have someone wear it for like 10 minutes and then take it away. You know what I mean? Like,
speaking of,
and I mean, honestly, if it enhances people's like musculature and their respiratory system and their ability to process and utilize oxygen throughout their body, they should give all of their task force that thing for that time limit, whatever the time limit was that enhances their body without the detrimental effects. Because then again, you're starting to get some of that super soldier effect. You know what I mean? If it's like, if that enhancement's permanent, but they don't get the negative effects, I'm just saying. Does Don saying those very strongly or become, yeah.
Curing ailments, SCP-348, a gift from Dad, is also capable of curing illnesses or injuries, although to a much lesser degree. SCP-348 is a white ceramic bowl, patterned with blue flowers. When placed in front of an individual suffering from a minor ailment or injury, the bowl will fill with soup.
Oh.
Practically all individuals between the ages of 4 and 18 that have eaten the soup have enjoyed it, and will generally cause their ailment to heal faster than expected. Often, a message will appear in the ceramic after the soup is eaten. These messages seem to be directed specifically at the individual, and appear to be...
So you get like a free bowl of hot soup that cures you, and then you get one of like the little Snapple messages at the end, dude? That seems worth.
Be written by the individual's father, regardless of whether they are currently living or not. The child of divorced parents living with his mother receives a message saying, "I'm sorry, son," while a child whose father died in a traffic accident simply receives a message of, "I love you." Individuals older than 18 that eat from the bowl are less inclined to finish it, remarking that something is missing, and are much less likely to receive a message. Moving on from curing ailments and illnesses, SCP-2203 is an anomalous device that many people in the world would likely wish to try out. 2203 resembles a standard love tester amusement machine, with a display that measures an individual's romantic appeal. After using the device,
I would assume whatever it goes to, that's like then becomes the attractiveness level that you have to other people. Like if you get this and it's like harmless, then like people don't necessarily find you quite as attractive. But then if it goes up to like the top, then everybody wants a piece of you. You know what I'm saying?
A card dispenses from the machine with a name, address, and a few words of advice. This card corresponds to an existing person, and individuals that seek out said person find it remarkably easy to form a bond with them, generally leading to long-lasting friendships, marriages, or otherwise intimate relationships.
That's cool. You know, if you guys have seen the movie Big, this made me just think about that, but the movie Big, obviously that Zoltan thing, that's an SCP, that's an anomaly. They need to grab that. I would laugh my ass off if someone made an actual like SCP story off of that. They took like, they saw the movie Big and they were like, that's an SCP anomaly. If you do this thing and you make a wish, you know, it grants it. In the case of, you know, this person, it made them an adult for a period of time. That'd be kind of funny. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool.
These relationships are not anomalous in nature and can be disrupted or prevented normally, but it is still a highly beneficial SCP. Continuing the wholesome trend with a bit of an oddball is SCP-765, Duck Pond. 760.
I don't know why, but looking at this for whatever reason made me think of the Fountain of Youth. So it's like, I wonder, is the Fountain of Youth an SCP? Is that somewhere in the SCP universe?
65 is literally Duck Pond. 765 is literally that, just a duck pond. Although the description discusses how it emanates an emotional effect that causes individuals to experience relaxed feelings, contentment with their life, and justification with their life choices. After 7 to 12 days, however, this changes into feelings of lethargy, apathy, boredom, and depression. 765 is staffed by a rotating group of researchers and guards, particularly ones undergoing severe stress or lethargy. What's likely happening here, however, is that this is not an SCP at all, and is simply a duck pond. Rather than taking overworked and stressed personnel and sending them on vacations, the Foundation simply assigns them to 765, where they are technically still on the job, but are able to relax and contemplate things. They are then reassigned a week or so later to get them back to work. Certainly one of the largest scale and most useful SCPs known to the Foundation is SCP-2000, Deus Ex Machina. SCP-2000 is an underground Foundation facility located in Yellowstone National Park.
Oh shit.
It was originally constructed hundreds of years ago, but knowledge of its existence was lost for some time.
Interesting.
And only somewhat recently rediscovered. A generator powered by geothermal energy is capable of keeping the facility in standby mode indefinitely. But the main power of the
that fucking mega volcano there, that's all the fuel you're probably ever gonna need, right?
Facility comes from a liquid fluoride thorium reactor. At peak
Yeah,
capacity, this facility is
The duck pond
designed
one.
to produce 100,000 viable, non-anomalous humans per day.
What?
The facility is capable of recreating any known human genome, as well as generating new and unique genomes.
Okay.
And humans can be advanced to any age desired.
So it's just a big cloning facility and or like life preservation thing. So like if some kind of actual major catastrophe happens and humanity's wiped out, like technically if you have the genome of every human on the planet, you could just replicate everyone. Interesting. At 1,000 people a day.
Memories can be implanted as well, including entire life histories. And the facility has a memory bank of many Foundation personnel.
Bro, how much data storage would that take? It's the actual Deus Ex Machina of the Foundation. Or everyone's listening when we're talking about Discord, about ways asking me to bring back humanity after the end of the world scenario, right? I remember you saying something about that, yeah.
In the case of a world-ending scenario, SCP-2000 will unlock, allowing any Foundation employee to initiate its primary function. If, after 20 years, this process still hasn't begun, the facility will further unlock, allowing any human to access and initiate the process.
So when was the SCP Foundation, like, actually created? Because this said that this had been built several hundred years ago in the past and had been forgotten about and then refound. I guess, like, I was under the, maybe I'm wrong and maybe this was told to me in a prior SCP video, but I was under the impression that the SCP Foundation was fairly modern. I mean, SCPs and like all these other, Church of the Broken God and the Davites and the Sarkics, like a lot of that stuff has been going on throughout the years and throughout the history of humanity. But I was under the impression that the SCP Foundation was something that was somewhat more, modern and recent, and trying to contain and like research, a lot of these SCPs, etc. But maybe I was mistaken. It varies depending on your reading. Some canons have been around since ancient times in one form or another, and others only a few hundred years. And I mean, again, that could also probably depend on like parallel universes and all kinds of timey-wimey fuckery stuff that can be happening as well, you know, so I don't know. But I was kind of under the impression that it was something that like maybe around World War II or something like that, or even World War One is around, like around that time is when the SCP Foundation would have been made, you know. And I say modern as like that's relative terms, you know, because like World War One was, you know, 100 years ago basically. So
Mission critical personnel will be recreated first, followed by political and cultural leaders of a given time period, inputted at the start of the process. Then the facility will begin to rebuild a global population consistent with the time period. Building materials, construction equipment, and copies of thousands of different works of art, music, and literature also fill the facility.
So how are they getting all these people's genomes too? Like, are people volunteered, or are they just like, you know, sneaking around taking everyone's DNA so they can be remade? You know what I mean?
It's recommended to not set the time period further back than 20 years before the event, as things can get complicated. People are continually recreated until the world population level is back where it was, and manufacturing capability and agricultural production have returned to normal, a process that takes anywhere from 25 to 50 years.
And like, where are they getting the raw material to like clone humans too, right? You know what I mean? Like, I can understand that they have some kind of super geothermal reactor that's tied into that like mega volcano that's underneath. I can understand like the power generation being okay, but it's like, where are they getting the raw materials to keep making people and all these various things, you know?
At the conclusion of the process, a global amnestic is released to cause people to forget about the Foundation, and history resumes.
So this is like the SCP's version of the Matrix, only you're not trapped in a simulation.
Remains of a human were found at some point within the facility, dated 450 to 700 years ago, with the Foundation credentials for Dr. Alto Clef found nearby. A note was found with the body, reading, "Why did we have to build this thing? When did we do it? How long have we been doing it?
Yeah.
Do we even know?"
Yeah, that's true. That's the crazy thing to think about. How many times has humanity been wiped out and rebuilt from this facility? Only to have their memories wiped out and be brought back to whatever timeline they've established. That's true. That's true. That's an interesting thought.
It's unknown then how long this facility has actually existed.
Yeah.
And how many times it's been used.
I mean, you would, excuse me, you would think that for something with that advanced of a technology, that probably means at one point in time, humanity was even further along than this, right? And somehow it everything got reset earlier on. Definitely used in a lot of articles and tales where the world ends, so it gets used a lot by the authors. Because, I mean, like, again, like the question of like where you're getting these raw materials to actually just make the physical bodies and all that kind of stuff. And then you'd have to like replicate not only humans, but potentially what depending on how the world ended, plant species, insect species, animal species, you know, amphibious species, other various single-celled organisms, like all that. So this is essentially like, you know, a Noah's Ark scenario. And like, then also he's saying it has the capabilities of storing memories of all these humans too. So like the storage space would be unfathomable. Like the idea of just even one person's entire memory being stored is beyond the capabilities we even currently can even think about. I think like I don't even think like with like quantum computing we have enough like storage potential for that. So it's like this technology seems like it would be something that is far beyond what we would currently be capable of. And I guess maybe the potential, you know, is that it's been used a number of times, but they may have had to rewind the timeline back even further to a point in humanity and wiping memories of the SCP Foundation because for whatever reason, maybe at some point in time, you know, in our future, we get locked in like some kind of political or, you know, religious kind of war, and it just that cycle kept repeating. So someone had to reset our timeline even back further to a point where we could not be doing that kind of a situation. You know, I don't know. I'm not familiar with letters. I just know the Foundation's plan B. I mean, yeah. I'll have to look into you know, this SCP a little bit more, because that's intriguing. That's piqued my interest. Know more about it. But anyway, let's continue.
There are, of course, a number of more sapient SCPs that are generally regarded as completely beneficial in nature. SCP-999, the Tickle Monster, which I described in my Scarlet King video, is an amorphous, gelatinous mass of orange slime. 999 is playful, akin to a dog in personality, and will most commonly hug anyone who approaches it. Touching 999 causes an immediate feeling of euphoria that intensifies the longer contact is held, and lasts long after separation. This effect is capable of curing crippling depression, or PTSD, and 999 will take a special interest in those it perceives to be unhappy or hurt. 999 has also risked its own life in order to protect others from harm, and is one of the few SCPs that is allowed to freely roam the Foundation facility. As a counterpart to SCP-1048, the Builder Bear, SCP-2295, the Bear with the Heart of Patchwork, is a much more beneficial stuffed animal.
Yeah, this is the one that I need to do. This is the one a lot of people in the had left comments for in the Builder Bear video that I did to follow up to the Patchwork Bear. So this is one that I need to do as well. I need to follow up with this one.
The Bear with the Heart of Patchwork is a much more beneficial stuffed animal. When placed within 2 meters of a human that has sustained major trauma to an organ, 2295 will somehow produce scissors, thread, and either sewing needles or a crocheting hook, and take any fabric and stuffing in close proximity. This includes yarn, cloth, cotton, or wool, but if no suitable material is nearby, 2295 will instead take fabric and stuffing from itself. It then uses this material to craft an imitation of the injured organ, which will promptly disappear upon completion.
Interesting.
At this point, the injured individual will fall into a state of unconsciousness. An examination will show that the patchwork imitation has now replaced their damaged organ, with no trace of the original.
So we got super surgery Dr. Bear here. Like, okay. So, I mean, obviously I haven't seen this video yet, but it almost sounds like potentially someone was trying to create this, and then the other one was the mistake, you know? Or maybe they were trying to create the other one, and this happened, you know? I don't know, because, yeah, they seem to be opposites of each other. You have one bear that literally takes parts from anything, including other humans, you know, killing them in the process to make other strange variations of them that do some crazy shit. But then you got this version of this bear that is very helpful and wants to, like, help people and heal them, you know? So, interesting. What a great little doctor. Give this guy a raise. Yeah, for real. You know, I wonder if, like, during brain surgery, if he's able to replace, you know, parts of your brain the same way, you know what I mean? And if what kind of detrimental effects that would have, you know? I don't know.
Patchwork organs perform exactly as well as a normal, healthy organ should, and there have been no cases of rejection by the body.
There we go.
Examples include replacing lungs heavily damaged by years of smoking, replacing large patches of skin that have been burned, and replacing a diseased heart. There are limits, however, as 2295 was presented with a teenager suffering from cerebral hemorrhaging, and all the bear could do was give the subject a candy bar and embrace their leg while crying.
So, yeah, I can't do stuff with brains. That seems to be off limits, huh? It's just not capable of doing anything to fix someone's like actual brain. I mean, that kind of makes sense, you know, because who knows what that could do to someone? Because obviously, well, I mean, we still don't even know 100% how all our brains function. So,
2295 was recovered with a get well card with the text Kairos the Bear on it, with Kairos being one of the Greek words for time, specifically an opportune moment. The text inside the card reads, "To Tommy, because only time can mend all wounds. Love, Grammy." SCP-662 is another SCP that plenty of people would like to have, as it's a small silver bell that, when rung, a well-dressed butler calling himself Mr. Deeds will promptly appear.
oh boy. Is that supposed to be like an Easter egg to the Adam Sandler Mr. Deeds movie?
Mr. Deeds will ask what the ringer requests, and will then leave to carry out the request. Mr. Deeds is capable of performing most menial tasks, such as washing a car or preparing food, and is also capable of retrieving many different items, such as a ham sandwich or a brick of gold.
I'll take a brick of gold.
Larger, more complex items, such as sport cars and jets, are beyond his capabilities, as well as carrying out highly difficult or impossible tasks.
I mean, you ask me to get enough bricks of gold, you can buy all that shit, so...
Mr. Deeds is capable of being injured or killed, but will fully recover once out of sight. Mr. Deeds is unaware of how he retrieves items or carries out tasks, and has no memory of doing so, but otherwise, he's the perfect anomalous butler.
Interesting.
There are, of course, a myriad of other beneficial SCPs. SCP-005 is a key that can open any lock. Key,
yeah.
SCP-006 is the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, there it is.
SCP-294, while
Coffee
potentially
machine.
dangerous, is capable of outputting practically any conceivable liquid. SCP-131 are small, one-eyed creatures with the personalities of a pet that often warn others of danger, and once prevented a containment breach of SCP-173.
I haven't seen these guys.
SCP-179 is a humanoid entity located deep in space that warns the Foundation of any extraterrestrial threats.
Interesting. I haven't heard about that one either.
On. The SCP universe is one generally thought to be filled with horror and dangers, but there is the other side of the coin, and anomalies come in many different shapes and forms. The Foundation is not so detached that they can't see the benefit of utilizing certain anomalies for their own gain, but there have certainly been times where they have thought something was beneficial, and it turned out to be not. It's safe to say, though, at this point that pretty much all of these SCPs are useful in some way. And while there are many times I prefer our universe to the SCP universe, I wouldn't mind having a few of these.
I mean, yeah. I wouldn't mind having a little necklace that I could wear that cures me of illness pretty much instantly. In addition to its playful behavior, SCP-999 seems to love all animals, especially humans, refusing to eat any meat and even risking its own life to save others. On one occasion, leaping in front of a person to take a bullet fired at them. SCP-999's diet consists entirely of candy and sweets, with M&Ms and Necco wafers being its favorite. I mean, who doesn't like M&Ms, man? I mean, me personally, I go with the peanut ones. Peanut M&Ms are still like, that's probably in the top 5 like greatest candies ever made. Peanut M&Ms are just beautiful. But anyway, that's a whole other conversational topic. So, yeah, interesting video. I mean, this definitely gives me kind of some perspective on other SCPs to look at and follow up on. The Patchwork Bear was one that people had requested me to follow up on after doing the Builder Bear, which was pretty horrifying. But I am fascinated by that like cloning facility one to learn more about that. I'd be interested to read more about that. But I think also, his point what he's going on to, where he'd mentioned that, the SCP is definitely full of a ton of horrors, but occasionally there's, beneficial stuff to it. It just, you know, just goes to show that I think in general, people find stories about crazy otherworldly eldritch gods and stuff like that more intriguing. I feel like, you know, I guess maybe it's easier to write stories about stuff like that than I guess it is to really build an interesting story about, you know, a bear that's able to, you know, perform crazy surgeries and heal someone, you know what I mean? Or I don't know. But yeah. I just think it's easier for people to write stories about stuff like that. And I think people are kind of more intrigued and interested to learn and hear about things like the Scarlet King or the Flesh That Hates and stuff like that than a little cutesy bear that's, you know, able to heal people. But if the stories are done right, you know, then obviously people would be into them. So I just, yeah. But anyway, yeah, I can't eat regular M&Ms anymore. I'm the same way, man. Like, with how good peanut ones are, why bother? You know what I'm saying? Why bother with the regular ones? But yeah, anyway, so that was exploring the SCP Foundation beneficial SCPs. Links as always down below in the description to the original video here from the Exploring series and to the Exploring series channel. Do me a favor and click on those links. If you like this video of his, give it a like, and check out the Exploring series content. He makes a lot of great content for the SCP universe as well as others, so definitely deserves some love. We're doing this reaction here for my YouTube members. If you'd like to join in on the discussions and conversations we have before, during, after these videos, you're more than welcome to. We'd love to have you guys in here. There's a join button down underneath this video, and there's also a link in the description. You can click on either of those and just take a look at the member benefits that I offer. You can get videos up to a week ahead of time. You can get your name at the end of the videos as part of a thank you for joining. There's a Discord channel for you guys to come and hang on in and talk and have further discussions, etc., etc. So just take a look, see if any of that has any interest for you. Regardless of that, I just appreciate you guys coming in here, taking the time out of your busy days to watch these videos. If you enjoyed this reaction of mine, consider leaving a like and a sub, as it helps me and it helps the channel grow. And I definitely would appreciate it. But other than that, thank you guys very much. Hope you guys are having yourselves a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next one.